Refugees have left Ukraine since the invasion began, most of them heading to Poland, others managing to get into other neighbouring countries like Slovakia. Our reporter Porrick O'Brien has spent the day at the Slovakian border town of Ubla, and he joins us from there now. Porrick.
Kathy, as you said yesterday, we were reporting from the border with Poland and Ukraine. This morning we drove just 3 or 4 hours up over the mountains to the border here with Slovakia and Ukraine. This war is having all sorts of ramifications for the neighbouring countries around Ukraine, and not just in terms of the refugee crisis which you're seeing unfolding here behind me. So, for example, tomorrow, opposition leaders in Belarus have called for anti-war demonstrations on the streets of Belarus. What those opposition leaders are hoping for is that will spark mass demonstrations, the like of which we saw back about 2 years ago, if, and it's still a big if, the numbers show up on the streets. Remember, Lukashenko partnered with Putin when it came to this war. But geopolitics aside, we spent the day here in Slovakia on the border asking people coming through the gate behind me what the crisis in refugee crisis means to them. Yesterday, the UN said an estimated 100,000 Ukrainians had to leave their homes. That was yesterday. At the border crossing between Ukraine and Slovakia, people are waiting up to 10 hours to get across. Yesterday, 10,000 people crossed into this country. Maria is 8 months pregnant. She's an organizer. Herself and her husband had saved up to decorate a room for the new arrival. Now, she's also an organised refugee. Fold-up chair for the walk that took hours, check. How do you feel about the prospect that your child won't be born or might not be born at home?
Yeah. A lot of feelings, yeah.
Sorry, I understand.
If there will be a case to return in a month, like previously, like before the birth, like giving a birth, if I would have such option, I would do that really like happily, seriously.
Would you?
For sure, yeah, because I really want to see my husband, dog, and everywhere, like seriously, yeah. Yeah. So it is like, for me, it is like better than to be here because, like 8 months, I don't have any money because we had renovations. We didn't expect to have any war or something like that.
Thousands and thousands of people are coming across from Ukraine into Poland, Hungary, Romania, Moldova, and Slovakia. So the queues here on the Slovakian side aren't quite as long as on the Polish side, but the queue on the other side of the gate here, we're talking about people waiting for about 10 hours or so. In this part of the world, solidarity just doesn't come in the shape of lethal aid or rhetoric, by the way. The Slovakian government has announced that people arriving here like these people will get free healthcare, they will get temporary work visas, and they will be given free transport. So a real sense of a country and civic society rallying together. Vladimir is waiting for his mother. She's been in the queue for hours. His father, at 57, just inside the conscription age of 18 to 60, is staying in Ukraine to defend his neighbourhood. Their son has been living and working in Poland for the last 8 years.
My other relatives, they refused to leave the town, unfortunately, and now they have.
And what about your father? Is he going to leave? Are you okay?
No, I'm not. At least I will see my mother soon.
The people we met were incredibly resilient, being strong for themselves and those fighting back home. There are layers to the anguish of having to leave, though. The leaving is just the start of it. Because then come the questions. If I ever return, what sort of country will it be? And if I do go back, who will be waiting for me?